I really enjoyed No Parking Hare. I found this to be a very creative cartoon. This is a Warner Brothers cartoon from 1954. It's directed by Robert McKimson and written by McKimson and Sid Marcus. And we have Mel Blanc voicing Bugs Bunny and John T. Smith as the construction worker. And what we have is this construction worker determined to build this freeway, which would, of course, interrupt Bugs Bunny's house. And his solution? He tells Bugs Bunny to just sell his house. And Bugs is not going to do that. So he decides to stage almost a sit-in, and he's reading Edgar Allan Poe and singing songs and generally trying to have the best time he can to show that he's not fazed by this. And he also tries various different tactics to stop the freeway construction. And I won't go into any detail about any of the other specifics. But I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it worked very well. Bugs Bunny was definitely on top form. I think this is one of my favourite performances from the character, even though the actual concept of, the construction work, interrupting his home, it's not the most unique. There are other cartoons like this, but particularly Bugs' performance I thought was pretty great. I really like the design of his rabbit hole as well. I think there are a lot of things to look at. The design is really pleasing. The actual animation as a whole was pretty good. There was one moment where I didn't like the animation, and it's for a brief second or two, the animation style is just completely different. And I didn't love that moment, but because it was, so brief, it didn't really hinder my enjoyment. Definitely a very fun, creative cartoon with a lot going for it. Not the most predictable either. I think it had a pretty standard narrative structure and kind of went in a direction I was loosely expecting. But ultimately, I wasn't sure of how it would end, and I kind of enjoy that aspect. I always like it when cartoons keep me guessing until the end, and Warner Brothers cartoons often do that. I do think No Parking Hare is one of the best Bugs Bunny cartoons I've seen in a little while. It might not make a top 10 list, but it's definitely a top 10 from the last few weeks, the last few that I've been watching and discussing. Needless to say, I really enjoyed it, and it's definitely one that I recommend.